Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome back. I know missed your faces or your presence, but you have Joshua Lynch here, Mr. Shaky, and we have our own crazy Canadian, Michael Bolton.
Damn straight, motherfuckers.
And then you all will notice there is a new face tonight. We have Landfill.
What's going on, guys?
You have something to give us a little share of the landfill. Like, share me first of where that came from. Like, is it anything to do with the land? Like, oh, what was that character? Who's called Landfill?
Um, where I got the name landfill, back in the day in my work history, I used to work at a prison, and uh, we worked long shifts, weekend shifts, where it's just me, my crew, uh, and I worked with other crews. Well, one of the lieutenants of the shift, I was a lieutenant, and I was helping fill in for another shift, and we had the eating. It was a holiday, and he called over the radio. He's like, everybody come get you a plate of food except for Timmy. You know, everybody come eat because he's a landfill. He'll eat all the food before you come get it. So from there, everybody just kind of stuck with landfill, calling me landfill around the prison. So I started coming into doing, on-screen stuff with promoing and, interviews and stuff like that. So I was like, as a good screen name, why not go with Landfill, the hardcore hungry man?
Right, that's a badass name. Yeah.
I've always dug the hardcore style, and I love to eat. So, I just kind of ran with it. The hardcore hungry man, Landfill, and and it just kind of stuck. So
we'll have to go. I want to dig deeper in that there. That we'll learn more from you of it, but we'll go in just recap of any like things you all have noticed this week. Like Michael, anything that popped out to you that's happened?
ROH closing.
What do you mean?
Yeah. You never heard about this?
No.
Yeah, they went under business. Panorama, rama, rama, ding dong.
Ring of Honor released all of their contracted employees.
COVID-19 killed
this
people
past
and killed
week,
wrestling.
they did an episode of Ring of Honor of the best of, and Ring of Honor of the past Ring of Honor people, of the people who started out Ring of Honor, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, all those others, Samoa Joe, that all started. They did a best of Ring of Honor instead of actual Ring of Honor. So it came out on the internet before anything televised was said. Ring of Honor releases all their contracted superstars. So, I was like, what does this mean? Are they shutting down? Are they just getting a new, fresh start? Are they just giving their people an opportunity to be able to go out and do some wrestling elsewhere while they're still trying to get their shit together? What does it mean? We're still to find out.
Okay, so they haven't it's just, I mean, shit. If you release every single one of your people, you're showing some type of weakness there, or
it seems like they're shutting their doors.
Yeah,
I honestly think that they seen AEW, they seen all the all outs, and they were like, "We're just gonna wave our red flag. Let our wrestlers go to them. It's going to happen anyways."
Right, and it's honestly, I feel like, I don't know. Lately, of what I've heard, there is a lot more promotions. It's kind of almost, in a shitty way, it's kind of back in the Attitude Era in the way that there is a ratings war still, because you see all the ratings posted. Like I saw that AEW's catch, I mean, they're still having pretty, I think their ratings have gone up. They're in like the 700s, I think was this time. But what they showed that killed it was fucking SmackDown's hitting 2.5.
Well, if y'all saw this past week, they came out with a post. AEW actually lost a lot of ratings just due to how long their show was.
Yeah.
Because they did a recording for Dynamite, and then right after Dynamite, they went right into a house show. So midway through this house show, everybody just starts leaving.
Oh snap! And like, so you see that, and then it's like, didn't they learn? I still think an hour and a half is a great quick in, quick out, like what I want to watch on TV. Like when it was like 3 hours raw, I would feel like that's an investment of your evening.
It is.
It is, but if they can keep your attention,
Yeah,
that's what it's about.
Yeah, like I mean, what? I think back in the 90s they weren't 3 hours, but I know for sure they caught your attention for the full two.
Back in the 90s, it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
Did y'all catch Impact?
No.
All right, this is what I have to say about Impact.
Josh Alexander lost.
Foot in mouth. Moose comes out, just gets the Impact title back, and starts spouting off at the mouth that he is the best champion ever. I mean, he's throwing shots out at WWE, AEW, and their champions, calling them out, calling each and every one of them out, from Charlotte Flair to Roman Reigns to the AEW champion. I mean, he was calling them all out, saying that he's better than them because I was like, hey, Moose, have a win under your belt before you want to start pushing that envelope,
Yeah, like don't get.
Now, are you familiar with Josh Alexander? That's one thing we have to talk about Moose winning.
What's with Josh Alexander? The name.
He's one of the best Canadian pro wrestlers wrestling to this date. He is probably
Josh Alexander. I've heard the name, but I have not, I had not watched a lot about him yet.
See, Moose beat him. I forgot what pay-per-view it was, but it was the last TNA pay-per-view. Moose beat him, and it was complete bullshit.
Well, granted, I've seen a lot of good stuff from Moose. Moose is a very athletic, persona. He's a good wrestler.
He is, but he stole that goddamn belt from Alexander.
But hold your mouth a little bit till you actually start getting some wind behind you. Impact is just starting to really rebuild themselves. Impact's doing a lot of independent shows. It's Impact's doing a lot of house shows, and they're doing their Screen Time Big Impact show. But they're still rebuilding themselves because you got to look back from they were TNA, then TNA Impact, and now they've dropped the TNA and their Impact.
Yeah, they've still done a lot of rebranding. Like you said, they're still trying to find themselves of it, and it just he reminds me of like one of those shitty like news, like Vanilla Ice calling out like Eminem kind of thing.
And he needs to work on his promos a little bit. He kind of tripped over himself a little bit there. But also another in this week in wrestling, you saw Hacksaw Jim Duggan came out and told everybody about his cancer diagnosis.
Yeah,
he is dealing with prostate cancer, and it's not looking really good.
Nope, not at all. He looked awful.
So it was the diagnosis, and he said in the next couple of days he was looking at surgery. So, I've always been a big fan of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I've always followed his career, and I hate seeing that the bad health. Yeah.
Remember when he won the first Royal Rumble?
He was the Royal Rumble one.
Yeah, he won the first Royal Rumble, and that took place in my hometown, Hamilton, Ontario.
Oh, well, there you go. We'll see. So, yeah, a lot of things happening over the week and everything. But
Bray Wyatt dropping hints that he may show up somewhere. Don't know where. He's dropping a little countdown. A couple days here, a couple days there, waiting to see where. Because
to do that,
I like Bray Wyatt. I hope he does come back somewhere.
How many times?
If it's AEW, we don't know. If it's WWE, we don't know.
How about
countdowns have he done? I'm thinking, how many countdowns? Because he's one that I remember a couple countdowns that he's done. Like,
well, before with the countdowns, those injuries and stuff like that, he was out for rebranding of his character. Now because this countdown is he's coming off of his release. He was released from WWE, so
free agent.
Did he get a new contract with WWE? Is he contracting with somebody else? We don't know. We hope to find out soon.
Well, there, yeah. So that's some so question kind of lead into more about you landfill and where you're at and from is so you talked about promos of it, and I know a little bit about you. We know like Michael and you that like you like doing the promos and you do you critique those a lot more then, and is it different based on where you're from? Like are your promos have to be a certain way different based on this because of like the rules you were talking about?
No, as far as the promos go, it's a pretty open thing, concept there. Like when, I work with the company called the VOH Inferno, VOH Wrestling Boiler Room. We just try to get back to the old school ways of promoing, of how you really got to know a character. So we built a whole platform just on promoing. So I watch all these promos and I critique, promos, from whatever promotion they may be from, whether, it's, GCW, WWE, Ring of Honor, ECW. I watch all these just to, hone in my own craft, but I also look back to what they used to do, how it used to be, because like how I really get over on the promo screens is how I can get into this character, how well I can play off of words and offer different characters. And like I said, that's how you really come to get behind or get in front, get behind a character and like them or be against them about how he represents himself with his mic skills. Say, you got two big guys go in there and just fight it out. Okay, well, that's a great match. I don't know a whole lot about them, so I don't know who I really want to push for right off. Other than, this guy's wearing no shirt. This guy's wearing a shirt that says, hello tomorrow or big thumbs up. That's how you get to know them better. So that's how I really get to have a feel of who I get behind it. It's you get to connect with them. Now, as far as rules and regulations, that's more on the actual wrestling part.
Okay. So what is then like? So kind of go into more of that then. For
all right.
Where you're at and like.
I'm based out of the state of Louisiana. If anybody has ever looked up rules and regulations and laws of their wrestling commission, the boxing wrestling commission of whichever state or country you're in, all the other states and countries are really loose on their rules and regulations. You see a match, you got people jumping off of buildings, off of ladders, getting thrown out the ring, getting hit over the head, tombstones, pile drivers, suplexes. You got a full scale match, luchador, high flying, this, that, and the other. But here in Louisiana, what I'm about to bring to you is our rules and regulations. So the following is banned from any wrestling show in Louisiana except for WWE, because they state that the wrestling commission states that the WWE is more suited and trained to do so. I just think money talks.
When you say ban, what do you mean by ban? Like, what happens if a hardcore promotion just popped up in Louisiana?
If they just came up and just started running a show,
like if someone set up a ring at a bar and got a bunch of local hardcore wrestlers and just did their thing,
you have to be, not very well advertised at that point. There was a little promotion that did, some bar stuff. They did some stunt stuff like that, but the wrestling commission was not involved in that. So it was just, a couple guys that brought the ring that was wrestlers from around, and they were deathmatch wrestlers. So they did, some very off the wall stunts, jumping off the roof of the bar through the scaffolding made of light tubes. That's a no-go with, a legit promotion. If you want to have a legit promotion here in Louisiana, there's banned moves that you just cannot do, or you'll be fined very heavily. If you know, because with these shows, you got to book them in advance. You got to have a member of the wrestling commission there. You got to have the fire marshal there. You got to have
I don't know.
ambulance and doctors on standby there in the building.
What?
So
No.
yes,
That's retarded.
That's a lot.
and if you don't comply with, if you break so many rules or don't comply with what they, you know, is in the contract, they'll send the local police in to shut the show down.
What the fuck?
And the promotion will be heavily fined. Like any variations of the pile driver or tombstone cannot do it.
That's gay.
Any variation of the power bomb cannot do it.
Stupid.
No moonsaults, shooting star presses, 450 splashes, or any variations involves the wrestler leaping or flipping off the ropes. No go.
So why even have a wrestling promotion anyways in
Louisiana? That's
in Louisiana? Like that's oh my god. I know we can't swear, but that's fucking retarded.
No striking of the head with any object, chair.
Okay, no.
No striking in the head whatsoever. No wrestler shall be shoved, thrown, or forced out of the ring over the top ropes.
What? So like that takes away battle royales.
No stun guns. No variation of any move where the fighter can be struck on the head or neck or being dragged, draped, or clotheslined on the ropes.
Don't they have artistic freedom in Louisiana? Like in Ontario, we can.
The Wrestling and Boxing Commission here is so strict on this. That's why here it's more of the strong style technical stuff. It's got to be in the middle of the ring, not too close to the ropes. And it's got to be right there in the ring, opponent. You know, grapples, takedowns, chain maneuvers, stuff like that. That's what is the basis of this. What this wrestling commission is looking for. That's why a lot of the promotions here. There's not many left here. There's like one down south and one just newly started here. So they got to be very. Watch their P's and Q's and I's and dot their stuff and make sure that they're paying attention to what they do to where they don't get these marks from the wrestling commission. That's why a lot of territories, a lot of these states, they go out instead of staying here in state. They may do little shows because being that they're founded here, they do little shows abiding by these rules. But to be able to do more loose matches, to do that kind of stuff, because a lot of guys, they're trained to do this kind of, do the high flying, do the hardcore stuff, but they got to get out of state to do it.
So, like, what happens if
traveling promotions? Like, is there such a thing as a traveling promotion?
Yeah, well, there's nowadays in the independent scene. That's what they do.
And look at her comment. Hannah says, "Of what kind of show is that?" She says, "I would think I was watching Desperate."
With independent wrestlers nowadays, granted, you'll see them in promotion, and they started out in this promotion, and they'll spearheaded. I'm from this promotion, but they don't stay in a certain area anymore. They're always taking bookings. So say, they're based out of Georgia, they'll put out there to bookers that, hey, I'm available. It's just, you got to take care of this expense to get me to whatever state you want me in, house me here, and pay me for my, my services. So that's in the independent scene nowadays. There's no one area that they're going to stay in. They're going to be traveling. It's like with independent promotions that start up in like here in Louisiana. They may start out here, but they're contracted to at least 1 to 2 years strictly with this one company before they're able to travel around and do other things on their own.
So what would happen in Louisiana? Say if there's an independent promotion and they book a hardcore guy and there's wrestling commissions and the talent that they like. What happens if they book New Jack and New Jack just came in and just fucked shit up?
They'd get
Well,
shut down.
Unfortunately, I will mention this. As you all knew, New Jack passed away a while back. Rest his soul. I loved watching New Jack, but if a superstar like New Jack came out and was to be in a promotion here in Louisiana, it's a lot of legality. They would have to find somebody to bring in with his certain level of talent and training, and have to go through a whole legal contract, separate from the wrestling commission, and no other member from this little independent promotion can be involved.
Huh. That's interesting. I want to research on that. That's very interesting.
So see, but Hannah kind of then leads us into the next. So yeah, wrestling does need to be deep and dirty. Isn't that what you love about it, Michael? Like,
yeah,
hardcore.
If you get to really researching it and digging deep, just like with how the older territories were made, when you want to say dirty and deep, that was dirty and deep. So,
because it would probably,
and we'll catch that all on another time.
Yeah, because it probably, there's probably more of like the history, more like the 80s or 90s of the wrestling commission would be interesting to know how that was of it. But I know there was things you wanted to talk on, like Dark Side, Michael, or do we want to go?
Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring.
Or is there any deathmatch stuff you want to bring up tonight?
Yeah, a little bit of deathmatch stuff first.
Okay.
So
let me mention this. This has to do with the Dark Side of the Ring and deathmatch wrestling. You're a big fan of Nick Gage, correct?
100%.
Well, did this may be something you already knew, but this is something I just recently found out because just doing a little research on the stuff. Did you know that Nick Gage was legally dead for 7 minutes after one of his deathmatch wrestling shows?
2.
Oh shit!
He died in 2 matches.
From the Wrestling Observer. He was legally dead for 7 minutes when he had a glass tube puncture an artery and stopped his heart. Everything. They had to rush him to hospital. 7 minutes. They legally pronounced him dead.
Oh my gosh! Yes, Michael. Your eyes rolling like you just are like, if they don't chop off heads, fucking pussies.
What happened was he was thrown off of a building and landed. Okay, the truck was like that. The bed of the truck had 8 to 10 tables, and there was glass planks and light tube planks, and he fell through it, and it hit him right here, and it went in and hit his heart. The whole tube. They had it taken out of him in the airplane, in the helicopter. He got airlifted from the bottom of the glass table, like from the bottom of the fall, like through all the tables and the gas. They had to airlift him out of it. Imagine this, a helicopter coming to an outdoor wrestling event and just airlifting the heavyweight champion out of the arena. It would be like
if ever there was a great exit, that was a great exit. But I mentioned this because I knew you can bring more light to it. I knew you were a big fan of Nick Gage, and that was something I wanted to know a little more about. I knew that you'd be able to give that to me.
Yeah, so
also robbed the bank and ratted himself out.
No. Okay, so Dark Side. What do you got for Dark Side, Michael? What words do you want to share?
Ric Flair.
Okay. I mean, I love
share with us, Mr. Bolton.
Ric Flair. Yeah. What did you learn about Ric Flair?
The helicopter.
Other than the helicopter of Ric Flair, the woo chopper,
Dark Side of the Ring.
So what was all this? So refresh audience and myself a little bit of the helicopter. I remember something of, and they're like some hookers and blowing.
Apparently.
It was
on this plane
after
ride to hell.
they were heading to a wrestling show. It was Ric Flair, a bunch of other superstars, and Ric Flair supposedly corners up a flight attendant, throws open his robe, and he's wearing nothing but the Nature Boy's finest of nothing, and just starts whooping his woo man around and just doing the helicopter, and nothing gets said about this. There was a little, slap on the wrist back in the day, but nothing gets said about this until just recently, which, you can probably shed a little more light about, with the Dark Side of the Ring. Carry on with that.
It was always joked around about, though. Like I heard that for a very long time, even before Dark Side of the Ring.
But
we all knew Ric Flair had I know deep down that's not the only scandalous thing that Ric Flair is carrying around in his closet, but and
it's kind of funny. Like if you were in a locker room of WWE wrestlers and you're a Ric Flair, all that testosterone is going around, all the roids that were just pumped in everybody, and you just pull your little dicky doo out and do the helicopter to make the boys laugh. It's kind of funny. But to do it to a flight attendant, that's a little weird. She wouldn't find it funny.
Yeah.
Right. She's got a job to do,
Yeah.
Especially
it's all about professionalism.
But it's kind of funny though, thinking like 70-year-old Ric Flair doing the helicopter with his penis.
That's sad. I don't want to see Hugh Hefner.
I want to see it.
What about my thing was this like on like a Southwest flight? Did he just like get up and go, "Hey, do you got some nuts? Cause I got some here." It was first class. Cause Ric Flair is first class. Cause remember, he's what? High profiling.
Have you ever watched the wrestling clips? You can find it on I guess it's on Peacock now. But it tells stories about when they're on the road, just from different superstars, different characters of what happened on the road. Ric Flair has a segment, Mark Henry has a segment. There's a whole lot of characters that have segments of things that happen on the road that's embarrassing, or their drunk stories or stuff like that. That's another thing we can get into in a later time. There's a lot of
fun
kind of stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
those are actually fun. Actually, then that's a good test for next week. Then I would say we should pick a couple of those. And I do love In the Car. Or have you all seen ever the they have like the road trip one where they've done like it was like Sheamus and whoever like just road tripping in the car. They have like the live road trip one, but
they got the live road trip ones, and then they have ones where they just tell all their older stories from back when they used to travel together before the buses and the planes and stuff. When they used to have to get in a car and go,
I'm shocked how some have to still do that. Like some of these like multi-million-dollar wrestlers, they're showing things of them literally having a problem at the rental van station because they just flew Southwest and they're meeting this person to drive 20. Oh man, it's a lot of work to put into these. Like entertainment in a whole is a lot more work than what you see on behind the screen. But I will say, yeah, let's watch a couple of those. Maybe we can find a couple Ric Flair's ones and dig into it more. But any final words from us tonight, fellas?
No.
Well, as far as me, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be on the screens with y'all. Thank y'all for allowing me to be a co-host here. This is just one of many times that you're going to be seeing me on here, and the many times that us three is going to be talking about all this. I can't wait to keep digging down deep into all this. I got history on, the myths and the stories of how deathmatch was created, and many, and like I said, anybody. I said in a little hype I put out earlier. if there's anything y'all want to hear us talk about,
Yeah.
comment on our podcast here and let us know what y'all want to hear us talk about. That's what keeps us going. And like I said, I'm excited to be here. Thank y'all for having me.
And I want to thank everyone who's viewed this, everyone who has ever showed some fucking love to the three of us, and anyone who just cares. Watch this podcast, follow, like, and subscribe. This is Powdered Out Nation.
And hopefully, you know, if we keep picking up steam, maybe we can be on a little longer. Maybe we can be on a couple times a week. You know, that's maybe something we can dig into. Like I said, once again, thank y'all for having me.